Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to China Showtime. Petroleum is a non-renewable resource that is crucial to the survival and development of any country. Most countries without oil resources of their own are stockpiling oil in preparation for possible future shortages. As a large industrial country with a large population, China has a huge demand for oil. In order to expand oil import channels, China spent 14 years building the world's largest offshore oil port. The port not only ensures a safe supply of Chinese oil, but also bypasses any potential U.S. blockade of Chinese shipping. The port is of strategic importance to China as it allows China to maintain access to oil even in the face of a potential U.S. blockade. Gwadar Port, also known as Gwadar Deepwater Port, is located in Gwadar City, Pakistan. It is currently the third largest port in Pakistan and one of the many important ports China has built in other countries. However, many years ago, Gwadar was just an inconspicuous small fishing village, not even marked on the map. Despite its humble origins, Gwadar holds enormous strategic value to China. Its location in the Persian Gulf allows it to dock 80,000 to 100,000 ton tankers, and China has long-term plans to use Gwadar as a hub for fast delivery of ships and cargo to the Middle East and the Persian Gulf. In 2002, China and Pakistan reached an agreement to build Gwadar Port as a strategic port, and the two countries began joint development. In November 2016, Gwadar Port was officially opened to navigation and has since become an important gathering place for Chinese capital and technology. The port business continues to develop, and the supporting projects are also constantly improving. Gwadar Port is one of the key projects of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, part of China's Belt and Road Initiative. Traditionally, after crude oil is shipped from the Persian Gulf, it has to bypass the Indian Peninsula, pass through the Strait of Malacca adjacent to Singapore, cross the Indian Ocean, and finally reach China. This not only increases the transportation cost, but also increases the risk of transportation. The port of Gwadar provides a direct route from the Persian Gulf to China, allowing China to bypass this long and potentially risky route. This not only reduces transportation costs, but also reduces transportation risks. The port of Gwadar is important to China because it provides an alternative route for transporting crude oil, allowing China to bypass the Persian Gulf and avoid potential conflicts of interest with the United States. As a manufacturing powerhouse, China relies heavily on imported oil to meet its energy needs. If the global trade and transportation pattern is disrupted, China's oil supply may be affected, threatening China's energy security. The Persian Gulf is also within the sphere of influence of the United States, which maintains a strong military presence in the region. By using the port of Gwadar, China can avoid the potential dangers associated with crossing the Persian Gulf and the U.S. military presence there. In addition, the Strait of Malacca, an important gateway from the Persian Gulf to China's traditional traffic artery, is also closely monitored by the United States. The United States has naval bases in Singapore and the Philippines and has the ability to disrupt global trade and transportation by blocking the Strait of Malacca. By using the port of Gwadar, China can avoid the Strait of Malacca and reduce its reliance on this potential choke point. If China's traditional oil transportation routes go wrong, it could have devastating consequences for the country. To address this potential loophole, China built the Gwadar port in Pakistan. By transporting oil from the Middle East to Gwadar and then transporting it through Pakistan through pipelines, China has shortened the distance of oil transport by sea by 85%. This not only reduces transportation costs, but also increases the safety of oil transportation. By using the port of Gwadar, China can bypass the Strait of Malacca and avoid potential U.S. interference. The traditional transportation route from the Persian Gulf to China is more than 12,000 kilometers long. but the route via Gwadar is only 2,395 kilometers. Similarly, the distance to Rongqi, Xinjiang, China has also been shortened by 5,000 kilometers. Pipelines are also relatively cheap and safe to transport oil. Overall, Gwadar port provides China with a strategic advantage in terms of oil transportation and helps reduce its vulnerability to potential disruptions. The construction of the Gwadar port is important to China as it provides an alternative route for oil shipments and reduces China's vulnerability to potential disruptions. Generally speaking, the construction of a port city takes 5 or 6 years. However, the construction of Gwadar port took 14 years to complete. This is due to a combination of technical challenges and political issues. China completed the basic construction of the main structure of Gwadar port in just 5 years. However, Singapore, which controls the Strait of Malacca, an important route for Chinese oil transportation, has tried to delay the construction of the Gwadar port by leasing the land for more than 40 years. The development of Gwadar port and the development of Pakistan's shipping industry has thus been delayed by 5 years. In 2012, the Pakistani government decided to take back control of the port and hand it over to a Chinese company for operation. It was not until 2015 that China officially took over the land use rights of 2,281 acres of Gwadar port, with a lease term of 43 years. After overcoming initial challenges and delays, Gwadar port was able to continue construction and finally become operational. Unlike many other ports, Gwadar port is a large public works project far from the economic center. Without the support of surrounding transportation network, this requires a significant investment of manpower and resources to build, as well as the development of commercial facilities. For China, the goal of the Gwadar port project is not just to build a port, but to turn the small fishing village of Gwadar into a new superport city. As of September 2018, the construction of Gwadar port has been basically completed, and more than 20 enterprises have settled in the port area. This is China's comprehensive development system project with a large scale and scope. Gwadar port is an important part of China's Belt and Road Initiative and is expected to play a key role in supporting China's economic development and strategic interests. The construction of Gwadar port has brought major changes to the local area. The former small fishing village has grown and become more prosperous. The size of the town has expanded and the standard of living of the local residents has improved. Chinese companies have also installed seawater desalination facilities at the port, with a daily processing capacity of 5.5 million gallons. This not only meets the daily needs of the port, but also provides free fresh water for nearby residents. In addition to improving infrastructure and economic development, China is also investing in local education and medical facilities. This helps to improve the quality of life of local residents and is well received by the local community. Overall, Gwadar port has brought significant benefits to the region and played a key role in supporting China's strategic interests. In the future, Gwadar port city is expected to continue to develop and become a modern park with complete functions. The Gwadar port, which took China 14 years to build, has brought huge benefits to the country. By bypassing the Strait of Malacca and its associated dangers, the port reduces shipping costs for China and opens the door to trade with Africa's emerging oil producers. Overall, the strategic importance of Gwadar port to China cannot be overstated. It provides China with a new, safer oil transportation route,